You're listening to the Jeff Heilman Project podcast, where we bring the humanities to entrepreneurship, with your hosts, Jeff Heilman, a Silicon Valley startup entrepreneur, and his wife Jessica, a pastor and mother of 7 children. Stay tuned till the end of today's episode to get the full grasp of their collective 30 years of experience on today's subject, how to handle rejection.
How to handle rejection. Now, immediately, my mind, when thinking about rejection, goes to the Santa Claus movie, where with the island of misfits, with all the claymation one, and he just wants to be a dentist when he grows up, but like his dad won't let him be a dentist or whatever it is, and the abominable snowman, and
he just wants to be a dentist.
like
awesome.
60s movies from the 60s, and especially those claymation Christmas movies, are so obscure. It's funny. But the truth of the matter is, like my de facto, whenever I feel out of place or like not accepted for some reason, I think of I'm just a toy on the Isle of Misfits. So being let go and being let's see, in Emperor's New Groove, you've been given the pink slip, other options, not picking up your options as many times as you have been, which we are forthcoming on this podcast.
Yeah.
How do you handle rejection? Maybe just tell us how you do it.
The first thing, and I've been fired, laid off, or gone out of business more than just about anybody I know until you get into the big dogs. So I did meet with a venture capitalist, an attorney turned billionaire venture capitalist. I asked him, I said, what's a question that you wished people asked you, but they never do? And he says, everybody wants to hear about the wins. They want to hear about the 10 million shares of Airbnb or the 8 million shares of Snapchat that he got early. He says, but nobody ever asks about the losses. And he said that he had written something like 1,100 checks for $10 million or more for companies that no longer exist. So you figure 1,000 million is a billion. 1,010 million is 10 billion. So he's written $11 billion worth of checks for companies that don't exist. Now, that wasn't all his money.
Sure.
Right? That was, Stanford, Harvard endowment funds, throwing him chunks of hundreds of millions of dollars at a pop. But he said, eventually you just get to the point where you don't even think about it as far as failure. And I would say that when it comes to rejection, I think you have to establish yourself first in why you're doing what you're doing. And I was talking with a friend of mine about some work that we're doing over lunch today. He's one of the go-to-market partners for the software company we're turning around. He said, I'm 10 years younger than you. I'd love for you to bestow some wisdom on me. And I'm like, well, first of all, you're humble as F to even say that, because you're killing it. I mean, he's making $1 million a year in his 30s. He's doing well. And I said, but it's really about pivoting to working because of what you're becoming by the work. If you're working for the money, it's a fail, because you shouldn't be trading hours for dollars anyway. If you're deploying ideas for money, that's a fail, because it misses the humanities aspect of what you get to become. And nothing wrong with making money, right? Like, I'm not saying it's a fail if it makes money, but I'm talking about intent. And when I've come to the point now at 50 of looking at the work that we're doing, the work on this podcast, the work in the private equity world, the work in the VC world, the work in the real estate world, the work in software development, the work that we're doing in raising money and building companies and doing turnarounds. If I'm just doing this to make money, then I think that's a fail, because I know a lot of people that have a lot of money and they're not always happy. People have a lot of stuff and not always happy. That's true, but I know a lot of people that don't have a lot of stuff and they're not happy either. So I don't think having nothing is the key to happiness. But I also know people who have a lot of money and they've become something. they're actually pleased with themselves. They like themselves, and they're happy because they've pushed themselves through the rejection of other people, through their ideas not being received, through the self-doubt, through the setbacks, through the failures, and I think when it comes to rejection from other people, if it's selling, look, I'm trying to serve somebody. And if they don't want to be served, that's okay. Great. Saves me the time. But if somebody rejects you because you're trying to serve them and you internalize that, then who are you really serving?
I'm going to make an outlandish statement. I never get rejected.
You should outlandish that all day long.
I never get rejected because the key to avoiding rejection is to listen. And if you listen and have read enough books and have become a student of humanity and social skills, you can pick up cues and really recognize when someone wants to be approached, when they don't want to be approached, when someone if you're listening,
yeah, that's right.
then you know, I mean, we've always been taught that we're not just salesmen or saleswomen. We're sales professionals, and as professionals in the field, you don't have to sell anybody on anything. You just listen for the need, and then when you pick up on the need, you might need to go see that. I think that people who are in a hurry often feel rejected because they're trying to do a quick fix, quick hit, quick sale, quick whatever, and they don't realize that the true professionals, the true people who can successfully avoid being rejected and get to yes every single time are the people that are willing to go talk to 1,000 people to get 10 yeses, or they're willing to listen longer and play a long game than just hurry up and quickly close a deal, because those are the ones that the doors slam in your face because you're not giving it the time to mature. You're not doing your job listening. You're not really paying attention to them. You're only thinking about you. And I really do think that the sting of rejection comes from a self-centered place where you're thinking about yourself, because I'm not going to feel personally rejected if I attempt to go and serve somebody, or if I just want to make a new friend and then they say, if I'm really thinking about them, and if they're like, no, man, I can't play right now, or no, I can't go to dinner, I wish I could, that's not a rejection. That's just, my timing was off, and I'm thinking, and if I'm trying to serve them, then I don't feel rejected because they have something else to do or someplace else to go. It was just an idea. And you and I have always been pretty keen on, like, well, if we want to meet with somebody and not be rejected, we'll say, hey, in the next 3 weeks, do you have any time in your calendar potentially where we could go grab coffee? We're always making sure to give people a comfortable out to where they can be kind in their response and saying, no, and then the next 3 weeks are pretty busy. Maybe let's try for next month, and then, yeah, okay, that's good. But if you're too quick, and if you try to hurry along the process and be like, hey, you want to play? Can you go right now? Like, let's go to coffee right now. And they say, nope, always nope. I mean, that will sting. But if you give somebody, like when you met Kevin, our friend Kevin, it took like a year and a half before you guys had your first coffee date.
I did.
But you weren't feeling rejected.
52
you gave
weeks.
You gave him options. You're like,
the other thing too is that he was very clear about. He's like, hey, keep trying. Sorry, I can't do it this time.
But I feel like people say keep trying when you're doing a good enough job thinking of them and listening.
150%.
They'll say keep trying. You won't get the rejected slam face.
I mean, sometimes you will. I mean, I'm trying to do a good job for everybody, and not everybody understands it, or maybe they feel like they can't control the inputs, or they don't have the ability to throttle whatever. Just people get weird. People are weird. People that don't have a grounding in themselves tend to struggle, and I think that for me, two things. One, the Bible says if they don't receive you in the town that you go into, then dust the dust off your sandals, and it'll be as an indictment against that person for not being able to receive you when you're coming in the name of the Lord, right? When you're bringing love and coming in with an attitude of service. If somebody doesn't receive you, hey, I'm not the one being indicted here. They are for not being given love.
And my answer is always...
Some people just can't receive love.
My
and that's
answer is
okay.
always succeed anyway. Like, just because they don't receive you, just because they reject you, just go succeed anyway.
And
go
the
do something.
greatest thing about it is
be great.
If you can turn the rejection, because this isn't about not getting rejected. It's about how do you deal with it. Just turn it into fuel, and I just go supernova and go create amazing results.
If you want to learn anything about how to handle rejection, go read "Can't Hurt Me" by David Goggins, or listen to his book, because
so good.
He goes into one of his chapters about how he would take all the negative criticism and record it, and he would read all of the negative comments on like social media and stuff, and then he'd record it, and he'd like run while he'd like listening to everybody tell it.
Miles.
Yeah, exactly. While everybody's telling him all that junk, and he just used it as fuel. But I'm not. I'm a lover of people. I want people to love me. I want people to receive me. I don't like going to bed feeling like there's people that might not be happy with me. But the reality is, people aren't always going to be happy with you, but you don't need to take it personally. And you can certainly rewrite a narrative to yourself that says, this isn't a rejection. This is just they're not receiving what I have to offer. And I'm okay with that, because for whatever reason, they're just, they're needing to go in a different direction. And this isn't the end of the world. I think there's a line that becomes crossed when we are, seeking validation or feeling that sting of rejection, that we can immediately begin to believe it's the end of the world, or it feels like it's the end of the world. And we're just here to encourage you to say there's a brighter day tomorrow. The sun will come up the next day. This is not the end of the world just because you got let go or fired, or your boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with you. Like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And this is not a setback. It's a set up for a brighter, better future. And if you can just continue to contemplate and to think about how you handle rejection and how you handle people saying no, or possibly, things not going your way, but see it in the light of this is just a new beginning for something else.
I'll tell you the magic move that unlocked everything for me was when I started to combine an understanding of frame control from Oren Klaff's book, Pitch Anything, and eradication of validation-seeking behavior. Mm-hmm. So much of what other people, especially like control freaks, people in middle management, corporate America that just get political and just nasty, they're coming from a position of fear. Typically, they're scared of their own shadow. They don't understand how to control people who can control frame. Frame control is a tremendous form of self-discipline. But if you just get yourself to the point where you understand frame control, you don't wobble, and you respond clean and clear without emotion. Stoicism could be part of it, but stoicism is almost like the total purging or removal of emotions. It's not that you're removing the emotion; it's that I think the best flavor is like playfully disobedient, right? You're giving people small wins that don't mean anything, but you're not obeying. You're not putting yourself in a position where you can be controlled, or that you would defer, or that you placate, or that you're seeking any kind of validation. Once people recognize that validation-seeking behavior is a learned behavior and it can be unlearned, you can train yourself to be like, oh, that's bad. Everything I want in life is not showing up in my life because I'm seeking validation from other people, which means I can't lead them. And if I can't lead them, I can't sell them on participating in whatever projects we're trying to do, either exchanging money for goods and services, or partnering, or growing a business, or what have you. Once you get to the point where you don't wobble, where you finally get it in your nervous system of what it feels like to be autonomous, to have agency, to come from a position of sovereignty, then if you're making an offer to serve someone and they decline, it doesn't feel like rejection anymore. You've literally clicked over to the parasympathetic. I promise that'll be the biggest word I use today. You'll click over to the parasympathetic nervous system, and it'll be you observing someone struggling with the ability to reconcile that an offer has been made for them to be served.
And two last things that I think that I know this episode's not necessarily very long, but
It's a short one.
it's a short one. One is, please be leery of only surrounding yourself with yes people. Like there is the right level of good friends and mentors that'll call you out on your stuff if you're feeling like, if they're seeing you going in a errant direction, good loving way, like call you out on good loving way. So just, I really feel somewhat concerned for people who get into like relationships. There's actual relationships people are having with AI and ChatGPT, and it's always telling them that they're doing an amazing job and all this. Like,
yeah, you gotta
please
hedge against the
make
sycophant.
sure that you have people in your life who you trust that are willing to tell you where the red flags are. And then the second thing that I would like to encourage you to do is read as many autobiographies and biographies as you possibly can, because when you begin to see the sheer amount of rejection that Steve Jobs, anything that Walter Isaacson has written about, Benjamin Franklin, anybody, and Thomas Edison, and hitting the wall and getting rejected, and J.K. Rowling, and having publishers continuously turn them down. Like, as you become astute in your reading and studying other leaders and winners and people who have overcome successful rejection to the point to where it doesn't feel like being rejected anymore, then you will begin to see yourself when you get rejected as, oh man, that wasn't a big deal. Like, at least that, I'm not in the laboratory doing 999 filaments to get to the 1,000th filament for the light bulb. It's not, it doesn't seem so bad when you are good, when you're a reader. So surround yourself with good people that are willing to help you and challenge you with the direction you're going and alert you of red flags, and read, because there are so many brilliant people that have gone through rejection. You're not the only one.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because it seems almost unanimously that the people who have been through the most crap in their life are always the ones who have become the biggest.
Yeah.
You think about, I love Sarah Blakely's story. Mm-hmm. Here you got a woman who shows up at the place where pantyhose are manufactured down in the Carolinas, and she's got like 10 grand or 20 grand saved up, and these guys are giving her the runaround, right? Honey, you don't know anything about just-in-time fulfillment. Honey, you don't know anything about manufacturing. Honey, you don't know anything about color palettes or how to market or merchandise. And then she flies home to her mom and her sister, who after a year, they were the only ones that she told, because she's like, who's going to compete? Who's going to take us out, right? Is it Legs? Is it Victoria's Secret? Who's going to compete against us with the product Spanx? And she comes home and she says to her mom and her sister, she goes, I don't know a lot about a lot of this stuff. I don't know about just-in-time fulfillment. I don't know about merchandising or how to get my product into Nordstrom or any of these things. I don't know how to do any of these things. But I do care the most about solving this problem for plus-size women who just want to feel pretty and taken care of when they're in their process of their weight loss journey or whatever, wherever they're at. They just want to feel pretty. They want to be able to wear a dress that's, fits or maybe is a little tight, and have their body proportioned as best they can, look their best, feel their best.
Sarah Blakely, by the way, invented Spanx.
Yeah.
and they really are shapewear. It's a smoothing shapewear.
It started cutting the feet off of pantyhose, but it became shapewear. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the upgrade on that.
Yeah.
But the moral authority frame in I just care the most. What would happen to our business if we just cared more about serving, cared more about solving this problem for plus-size women than anybody else did. What would happen if we cared the most? And what happened is she made $1 billion in 20 years and is the only woman ever to write a check on the front for a single check purchase of an NBA basketball franchise in history.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever done it before. And she's such a badass. She also gave something like $10,000 vacations to every single one of her employees when she sold a controlling interest to private equity. So when you are obsessed with serving other people, when your focus is on contribution and growth, my belief is that if someone rejects you, what they're saying is, no, thank you, I don't want to be served. No, thank you, I don't identify value with the service that you're
No, thank
trying
you.
to give
I'm
me.
not ready to grow.
No, thank you, I'm not ready to be loved. No, thank you, I'm not ready to grow. No, thank you, I'm not ready to be served. No, thank you, maybe I don't have the money, or maybe I just don't care about what you're doing. And that's okay. I don't need somebody to care about what I'm doing. I don't need anybody to care about what I'm doing because I care the most about what I'm doing. And if we care the most about what we're doing, then we can stay in that posture of service and gratitude indefinitely. And I think it creates a magnetism in our personality that rejection just sort of bounces off.
Have an awesome rest of your
Thanks.
week. And God bless you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving if we don't talk to you before then.
That's
Bye.
right. Have a great week.